Hey, my name is Aline, and I made a silly YouTube channel to study for the NCMHCE, the National Clinical Mental Health Counseling Exam. And I said if I passed on my first try, I would make a YouTube video describing what I did and how I prepared to help other counselors who are going through this arduous process figure out, hopefully, something from what I did that'll work for them. So I'm going to go over how I studied, what I used, tricks I used to pass the test, the importance of accommodations, because what are we if not for our accommodations, and any other things I could think of to hopefully help you who's watching this uh, pass, hopefully your first time. And if you don't pass your first time, most people don't. I don't know how I did that. No clue. Dead to rights, I should have failed. But I'll talk to you about the mindset I went in with that because it was kind of wild. Yay. Hey, it's me in post. If you wait to the end, I added clips of my immediate post-test response, and I'm crying. So ChatGPT is telling me I should give you an overview of the test. I'm not. If you're watching this, you know the joys that await you of different case studies and answering questions and then random questions during them. Um, but the most important thing that I attribute to passing the test on the first try was accommodations. So I'm a person with an anxiety disorder, and I went to my therapist with the little accommodations form that they provide for you. I was like, hey, I would like extra time while taking this exam, and I would like an isolated testing environment because I'm going to start bugging out. And when I'm freaking out, when I'm biting my nails, which is a very bad habit of mine, that is an anxious thing, and other stuff, I want to be able to at least squig out in private, and that'll help me overcome the differences. And it really helped, but also I was able to like stretch out more. I had a little bit more room. I didn't have like people click clacking on the keyboard or the mouse like disturbing me. It was really nice. So number one thing, if you are a person with anxiety or other disabling conditions such that would grant you accommodations, I highly recommend you get them. I keep breaking this down in parts because I'm not good at making this kind of or any content, but let alone long form content, right? So another thing I did as a person with anxiety is I visited the testing center before the test, like a few weeks before the test. I spoke with the staff. I told them, hey, this is me. This is the test I'm taking. Can you provide me any advice or things to think about? What kind of snacks should I bring? Like, I asked them a bunch of stupid questions. It wasn't so much for guidance. It was getting comfortable with the space I was going to be in. I have a lot of test anxiety. I associate tests with very negative parts of my childhood. So by going to this exam site, talking to the people, asking them stupid questions, seeing how they handle those questions, it really put me at ease. And big props to the Pearson View people here in Tallahassee, which is where I work and live. They did a great job, and I really appreciate you guys. So, how much time did I study? In my opinion, I didn't study nearly as much as I should have. But that's because I'm hard on myself, and every moment that I wasn't studying, I was thinking, man, I should be studying. And you know what that did? It made me more anxious about what was going on. I started feeling feelings of failure. I started spiraling. So I had to find a way to balance that within myself. So go to therapy. Uh, Therapists need therapy. Anybody who thinks therapists don't need therapy, you're lying to yourself. That's a different video. Studying. I would study anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours a day. It wasn't every day. I tried to study at least 10 hours a week. And how I studied was very specific. I am not a person of means. I used all the free materials I can, but I didn't spend any money on studying materials. I hear great stuff about counselingexam.com. If you want to try it, everybody I know that's used it has loved it, but I don't know their pass rates. And I have a friend who used the Mometrix flashcards. The physical flashcards just gave me anxiety. I would look at them and I would loathe them. Just like, why are you in my home? But what I did use, so I used the NCMHCE exam prep, which I'm going, the app, right? I'll put a link in it in the, I'll put a link for it in the video description. I use the Mometrix practice test, which I'll also put a link for in the description. I use the Quizlet flashcards. Love Quizlet flashcards. Thank you, Quizlet. Now, why didn't you like the Mometrix flashcards? Because they were a physical thing in my home that I had to look at when I didn't want to look at them. But Quizlet, I could just open up the website. I was fine. The physical thing was bothering me. Big ups to DocSnipes. They're a YouTuber here. A lot of great content. One of the things I do when I'm like doing dishes or cleaning, I like to listen to stuff. So instead of listening to music or whatever thing I got going on at the time, I was listening to her talk about her different exam prep stuff. Some of it was very relevant, some of it was not too relevant, but it still gave me that, like, it put me in the headspace for that. Hopefully, I made a seamless transition there. I don't think I did. The other thing, and the only other thing I used to study, was ChatGPT. I would ask ChatGPT to ask me test questions. I'd be like, because I always am very courteous when speaking to our AI overlords. I was like, please ask me NCMHCE 2024 test prep questions. And just a fun way interacting with my phone. I would answer it because it's not like giving you a multiple choice. It's a, fill in the thing answer, which is a lot harder. And then it would be like, okay, you got this part right, but you kind of missed it on this aspect of what you said, or that's cool and you're wrong, but here's the actual answer, and I don't know where you got your answer. It was never that mean. If ChatGPT were mean, that would actually kind of be hilarious. But no, ChatGPT was a great resource. Leading up to the exam, so I stopped studying exactly 24 hours before I had to take the exam. I listened to some DocSnipes in the morning. I fumbled around on the app a little bit, but I was just kind of like, I was done with studying. I was burnt out from studying. The last 24 hours, I made a big lunch. I had friends over. We played D&D. We hung out. We just talked shit for a while. The morning of the exam, I didn't study anything either. I made myself a breakfast that wouldn't upset my stomach, but that would give me energy for the day. I made myself coffee, but not too much coffee that I was jittery because I didn't want to be over caffeinated. And that really helped me out. I had prepared the day before a thing with like peanut butter pretzel bites that won't negatively affect my stomach, some Gatorades, an energy bar. I had something caffeinated with me in case I got sleepy, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe like a cold brew can or something. And yeah, just good things to have with you during your break or in case you start getting an energy crash. I also brought allergy medicine, anxiety medicine in case things got really bad, ibuprofen in case like I got some sort of random pain, or I don't know, just I was hedging my bets. I didn't want anything to go wrong, so I was overly prepared, and if I was asked, I would do it all over again. It being over prepared made me less anxious going into it. I haven't found a good way to explain this, and I've recorded a few times and I'm starting to get a little hoarse. But my cheat code for this exam was DBT, radical acceptance. When I tell you I went to this exam ready to fail, my mindset was, okay, I'm going to take the exam today, and I've already saved up the whatever, 200, 300 something dollars to retake it, and I'll be more ready to take it the next time because I'll already have the experience of taking the test and I'll be less anxious and it'll be great. Even when I walked out of the test thinking, wow, I got a lot more of those right than I thought I would, at least I felt like I did, I was still wondering, like, how badly did I fail? And then the lady, she hands me the paper face down, as they do, and she kind of like walks away, but she's like kind of looking at me from afar, and I'm like, okay, okay. And then the immediate crying when I saw that I passed. I hope that's you too. Yeah, DBT, radical acceptance. I've never felt so little anxiety in maybe one or two times in my life have I felt so little anxiety. It was amazing. Big shout out to DBT. You're everyone's best friend, even if they don't know it. Hey, you remember in the 90s and early 2000s when on sitcoms the mom would be like, make sure to use the bathroom before we leave. I don't want to have to stop while we're driving, blah, blah, blah. And the kids would be like, yes, ma'am. And then 10 minutes into the drive, they'd need to use the bathroom because, TV. It's a lot like that for this exam. I used the restroom before I left my house, before I took the exam, and again during the break. I didn't really need to, but I didn't want to need to while the timer was running, even with my extended time, which I used. I used like maybe 2 hours of my extended time. Extended time. All right. I know a lot of you are just here for this part, and I'll see if I could add one of those thingies where it just immediately chapters. I'll try to add chapters to this. If I didn't add chapters to this, I couldn't figure it out because I'm old. But this section is called What I Was Asked About as Best I Can Recall. So, really important that you know your DSM-5 TR. Don't come with that old shit. Understand PTSD, bipolar, all of the little things about bipolar disorder. They get nitpicky. Conduct disorder, antisocial personality disorder, panic disorder, autism spectrum disorder, OCD. I was asked about expiration disorder. I think I said that correctly, and ADHD. Those were really prevalent, and they touched on most of the vignettes. I like vignettes because they sound like beignets. They asked me about the GAD-7, the PHQ-9. They asked a lot of questions about informed consent. That's very big for them, as it should be. Questions about when to terminate therapy, very important. Working with involuntary clients, they had maybe 2 sections on that, or vignettes. So yeah, word to the wise, know those things. My mindset and my tips for answering questions. Always place empathy and ethics at the top of your formulation for answers. Prove the provisional diagnosis. So normally, you know how we're trying to we have our own way of diagnosing things that really isn't how you have to approach this exam. When they give you the provisional diagnosis, assume it's right and look for things that prove that it's right. I learned that from DocSnipes. She's a baddie. Watch her videos. Is it gender dysphoria or is it just a societal issue? That was a fun one. If you're asked about gender dysphoria, I fall back on what was the provisional diagnosis. Was it gender dysphoria? Then it's probably not gender dysphoria. So search function in the vignettes. I'll be answering questions and I'll be like, man, this multiple choice option is bugging me. Let me go search for this one term in the vignette. I think I said vignette too many times and my phone did not like that. So search function, vignettes, helps. Use a search function when you're not sure if the vignette said something that's written in the multiple choice. That'll help you eliminate stuff. For the gamers among us, tests are just strategy games. You remove the bad answers for every question choice and you just try to logic them out. Once you remove the bad answers, you usually have a 50-50. And then you can use the search function to kind of give yourself a better choice there. When you don't know, research. I mean, just like mental health, right? When you don't know, research. Find the best angster. That's the angsty answer. Among the options, remove your bad choices for every question. In some of the questions, you're gonna be forced to pick the least wrong answer. So none of the answers sound right, but you have to pick the least shitty one. I hated that. You're gonna hate it too. It's great. Things I did not appreciate about this test. And this is the last part I got for you. Tricky language. Oh, they some wordy bitches, and they will try to trip you up with their clever little wording. Take your time, reread it. If you've got the extended time, go bananas. But reread things. Sometimes I had to read things 3 times to really understand what they were actually asking me, or presenting to me rather. And I hated that because it just ate up so much time. Also, diagnosis confusion. Um, I know there was one part that they were talking about someone who clearly should have had antisocial personality disorder. They were an adult, but it kept saying conduct disorder, and it was driving me crazy. That's it. That's all I have for you. If you found this helpful, like it. Subscribe to me. I'll probably make a video a year, maybe. Probably of me making food and not doing any mental health stuff. But I really hope to my other mental health professionals you found this helpful. And if you didn't, you know what? I tried, all right? I really hope you can go forward and help people and make this world a little bit better, because damn, don't we need the help. Alright, so I just passed the NCMHCE. I wanted to share the insights while they were fresh in my head. I found the focus of most of the questions was responding in the most empathetic way possible and the most ethical way possible to the problems presented. They were tricky. They use very tricky language. I don't know who the hell's writing these questions, but they're trying to they're shoving $20 words into every sentence. I feel like this test has a language barrier issue. Like, there were words in there that I didn't even know. I had to just assume what some of them meant based on context, and that's the thing. Context is everything. I had extended time, and I had like 200 minutes of extended time, and I only had like 57 minutes left. But pay attention to everything. Read everything carefully. There's a search function, so if you see something in a question that you don't remember reading in the paragraph, but you want to double check, copy, paste it into the search functionality for the little vignette that they give you, and double check it. If you can get extra time, get extra time. I only used my regular 15-minute break, and then I took a 5-minute break near the end because I was really starting to get frazzled. I'm not good with remembering a lot of assessments. So if you want to brush up on them, great. I got 2 Freud questions, maybe 3 Freud questions. I don't know if I got them right or wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I fuck Freud. Having a knowledge on several different kinds of diagnosis helped me out a lot. And a lot of it is, I wouldn't do it like this, but I understand what they're asking me. And yeah, I can't believe I passed. I've never passed a big test like this on my first try. I'm a notoriously bad test taker. But yeah, if you have any questions that I could answer, just let me know, and I'll do my best.